Okay, hi and good morning. I was asked to show how I created, excuse me, how I created one of these little guys. And this was just using my scraps. And so I did a little bit of prep work really quickly before I turned the camera on, just so you guys didn't have to watch all the die cutting. But I did pull out all the tools that I used. So I wanted to start with the dies first. Both sets are from Stampin' Up, sorry. One is the Sailing Home, that's this one here, and the other one is the Sea of Textures. And they were sold as bundles, but you could also buy them separate as well. However, the ones that I used this little fish die right here. I used that so that way I could make my project right here look a little three-dimensional, and there was little fishies swimming in the background. I'm not sure if you guys can see that really well. It was just a little detail, last minute, hey, I could use another piece of scrap just for that kind of thing. And then I used, excuse me, and then I used the, are they starfish? No. Sand dollars. I used the sand dollars for the sand dollars, but then I also used the inside of the sand dollars for my starfish, and we're going to use a little bit of shimmer brushes and alcohol marker to paint those to get the texture and color that I want. And then the next one that I used this seaweed here and this little rope right here. Okay, so those are the dies that I used. And then I also used some punches. Now this punch here, this is my all-time favorite punch in the whole wide world. Not sure if this is better image for you guys to see, but it's they call it a ribbon punch because it punches out this design. So it's not a border punch, it's a ribbon punch, and it punches out this design. This is how it finishes, you know, once you butt it up and got to the end. But I like to cut mine off and round it and make it look like it is finished at both ends. I just thought I would leave that on there so I remembered to tell you guys how I finish those off. And this is another ribbon punch. Again, looks like this. Now I don't believe either one of these products are available anymore, except for like on eBay and those other kinds of Etsy, maybe Amazon might have them. I'm not sure. People trying to sell theirs because again they're retired. So I have a strip of those and I have a strip of this. I'm actually going to make two of these for you guys, just because it's what I had left over to do. And then some more punches. I punched out these branches from this punch right here. I think I got this one at my very first ever Trip to Tuesday Morning. I can't remember, but I think that that's where that was. And then of course the last punch that I used was this daisy punch, my favorite all-time forever punch by Martha Stewart. It looks like this, but I bought it because the half looks like shells. And so that's, I mean, my favorite thing to scrapbook or to create with is underwater life. And so to have this punch that looks like a shell was awesome. And then you'll see what we're gonna do with that here in a minute. And then of course, my little fish. Now the original fish that I had right here, this was from a project, and I'm not sure if you guys can see, but it's all banged up and it just didn't cut very nice. It just wasn't quality work for the project that I was doing back then. And so that's why I had a bunch of these leftovers. Now for this particular project, I went back to my Cricut and I cut these. And these are from a close to my heart cartridge called You Are Here. But I cut these just for that because I'd already used up all my fish. So I did cheat there just a hair. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, oh no, a few more things. These little charms are available through Stampin' Up, and they come in a little case like this. And I was gifted these. I bought some and then I was gifted some, so that's why I have a little bit left over to do these little projects. Sorry. So that's where the charms came from. And then to give the little fishies a little bit of sparkle, I pulled out my washi tape. I have this silver washi tape, and I'm going to put it on the side of this, or on top of this, and put it behind my little fishies. So that way they have that little sparkle and they stick out just a little bit more. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to play with. And then of course my favoriteest ribbon in the whole wide world, again by Stampin' Up. Wow, I think I need to join Stampin' Up. But my favoriteest ribbon in the whole wide world, it comes like this. And then when you're done, and I'm not going to do it like this because I still need to thread it through. But when you're done doing what you need to do, you can split it apart and it becomes like this burlap woven, really cool ribbon. So I really like it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with my base piece, which is this one. Oh, and then of course I forgot this one as well. We will be using this chomper, corner chomper, the stub side. Sorry, almost forgot about that. Good thing it was laying right here. So here's the piece that we are going to be playing with. And I am going to cut off this little bit that isn't a full flower or shell. It can be punched both sides to make it look like a flower. I saw somebody on YouTube show all the different Martha Stewart dies, and if you put them together and the images that they make and all that good jazz. So that's where I got this idea, or else I would have just made it plain. But what I wanted to do was, excuse me, what I wanted to do was fold it in half to give it that dimensional look, to give it that 3D effect. So I'm going to take my bone folder and just give it a score real quick. There we go. Now this is close to my heart cardstock, and it's double-sided, so it's got a light and a dark on both sides. And I think I want the dark. Oh, actually, we're gonna make two, so I have to cut this one apart as well. Silly goose. Don't get ahead of yourself. There's the first one. And there's the second one. Okay. So then I'm going to keep it on the dark. So I'm just going to fold it at this score line. And it is a little bit fiddly, but if it's not perfect, that's what the border strip, that's what these pieces are for, is to hide that imperfect fold. And it also gives it a little shelf to all sit on nice and neat. Okay. And there we have it. And you can decide which side you want it. Like I said, it's not really going to matter. So then the next thing that I am going to do is, and I'm not sure if I should do these all together. Maybe I should do them all at the same time, or just make one for you guys. I can't decide. Okay, so there's that. And one of the borders is going to have this like a light gray. It's actually going to be that light gray. And the other one is going to be this kind of aqua. And I'm going to put it on like this, and then like this. Okay. All right. And then I take this Scotch Create Tacky Glue, just because of how fast it dries. and I'm just going to glue it along the bottom. That is it. Okay, and then I'm going to put this right down there. Along the bottom. It's a little uneven. A lot uneven. Oh my goodness. There we go. There we go. Same with this one. I love doing projects like this. Absolutely love it. Okay. And then I'm going to trim this one off. Again, give it that good, clean looking cut. There we go. Just makes it look like it's finished. Put that in my scrap bowl for later. Okay, and then I think I'm going to trim this one off as well. Okay, throw that away. I don't save every scrap. I should have glued my fishies together. I apologize about that. I'll put those together really quickly. Sorry. So I had a question of how I come up with things like this and ideas of what to make or anything like that. And basically what I do, this one is actually, my scraps usually aren't, I usually don't have this many scraps, honestly. But I challenged myself to finish a yearly album that I had, and I just kept cleaning and kept putting things away and kept putting my scraps in my little bin, and eventually my scraps fell off, and I was like, oh, looks like once this project is done, I'm gonna have to do a scrap project. And so that is exactly what I did. I basically did a little scrap project, and I separated all of my scraps into color families, and I let them don't think I'm weird, but I am. I let them talk to me. You know, what do they want to be? You know, does the green want to all be greenery? Well, yes. And these want to be branches. And I thought about, you know, what I could do is I could take them like this and hang little ornaments on them. So I have loads of these branches because I had a lot of brown for some reason. And then the strips that were really small like this, they became these border strips, or I punched more lacy doily little bits and things like that. And so once I was done pasting or cutting and trimming and doing what I wanted with the colors, then I just decided to group things how I wanted to put them together. There's really no science to it. There's no thinking to it. It's just what I want to create and what I want to create with. So I'm just taking a little bit of glue and gluing my little fish onto the shell. Well, what I call this shell. This is why my desk is so nasty, because I let the glue. But I found if I use paper, then the paper gets all sticky and it's just a waste of time. And so once this project is done, I will go back through and clean up. I just have to get through the project. So I put the little fishy, he's kind of in the middle, but he's kind of not. And then of course I make sure that he's not going to stick to the other side. because that's where we're going to get our little 3-dimensionals. And then the next part of this project that we're going to do is our little fishies here. And I'm just going to hand cut because it's not going to be really seen if it's not perfect. I'm going to hand cut them like that. And then this is where the washi tape is going to come in. So now I have two little fishies floating along. And I'm going to put washi down like so. I guess I should have done this before too, because this is kind of time consuming as well. I've had this silver washi, I had no idea that it was that thick, but I've had this silver washi for, I want to say about a year now. And I have used it on so many projects and it is still going. It came in a 3-pack, silver, gold, and white. And my girlfriend, she is the Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. She's the one that takes all my money. And she showed me that you could take these little blender pens, these alcohol markers of hers, and color that white any color of glitter that you wanted. And I thought, oh my stars, you're a genius. I would have never thought of that. So then the next thing that I do is I put this in my little stub chomper, like so, and cut those off. So there we go. Again, the stubbies. Okay, all done there. Now we are going to put these little pieces on the back of our shells, and I'm just gluing them to the tops of these two right here. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to flip them over really quickly and have these pieces of foam tape. I use up all the foam tape that I could possibly use before just throwing it away. And then these pieces will get glued down as well, but not yet. We are going to do that after we glue the seaweed down. Now the seaweed, we are going to have green and green, and then I'm going to flip these so they're not going the exact same way. Okay. Or if you wanted the big ones and you want it to look like this, you can do it that way as well. We'll do both. And then these guys, oh, I forgot no, I didn't. I just used one. One on each side, like so. Okay. And then we'll get to those in just a minute. Now on the first one, I did where the green was in the front, like that. But I think on this one, I'm gonna have the brown on the front. And then it's going to get glued here at the base. And then it's also going to get glued down here to the blue base, the blue fishies. And then this one will be in the background like so. And it will also get glued. And then the brown one will get glued to the base, but this one will get popped up, the green one will. So let's get started on that. So there's those. Now I'm gonna put the lid on this really quick because I ever have that fear of it drying. And the next thing we're going to do is prep for our sand dollars and starfish. So I'm going to take this clear. Now mine has a gold tint to it, and I'm going to color all of these sand dollars is what I'm going to do. And you guys probably can't see that, but it just gives it a shine. That's all. I don't even know if you guys are seeing it, but that's all I'm doing is rubbing this over the sand dollars to make them look wet, to make them look like they're sparkling underwater type thing. Okay, so that's that. All right, and there's that. Okay, so that's those ones. And then my starfish, I have this pink shimmer. It's the same thing as this one, only it's pink. It has a pink glimmer to it. And you guys probably, again, won't see it, but I do the glitter first because I worry, in fact, I haven't even tried it yet, but I worry because they're both alcohol based, the markers and the glitter pen, that when I go to put the glitter pen on top of this marker, will it lift the color? Because again, they're both alcohol based. Okay, and this way, this marker is only moving around the glitter. It's not really lifting the glitter. I don't know, I'm making stuff up now. That's what I do. I pretend like I know what I talk about with my products, but I really don't. I'm actually kind of new to the whole glitter marker vibe. Okay. And then I have these peachy colored starfish. Absolutely love those. So now they get to be put, 2 for you, 2 for you, and 2 for this one. Okay, and again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on here, tuck it in, in behind, put it right there, and then this little guy is gonna go up here somewhere, just like that. Okay, and then we've got this one. Oops, I almost forgot my rope border. Every time I see rope, it reminds me of something nautical. And this one is definitely one of those times. Now, I have to tell you why this is my favoriteest border of all times. Because if you see, if I cover up all of these fancy little scallops, I just have this itty bitty teeny tiny little scallop on one side, and I've used it on scrapbooks a lot. You just cover up this border and you have that tiny little, I love that. Or if you cover up the scallops, you have that pretty little lace. So I just thought that I would share that because it is my favoriteest border punch of all time. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just amazing. So I'm gonna put this little guy right about there, and then the bigger starfish, and we are almost done. Almost done. He goes out there. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Now we need this rope. We're done with that glue. Here we go. And we have these little pop dots, and I'm going to put just one on this little wheel, and we're going to put him right there, just to add 3 in that cluster. Same thing with the other cluster. And then we're going to do our anchors. I'm not sure how I can do the anchors up close and personal, because it needs to be up close and personal to my eyeballs too. But I'm just squeezing the trim to get it through the eyelet. And then, this is kind of hard to explain, but I wrap it around, and then because I want it to go up, I'm going to tuck under and pull it through. I hope that made any sense. So then that way I have this like sailor's knot type thing. It's like a, I don't know. It's a made up knot that I just did. Okay, I want to do that really quickly so I can get this done and over with. Here we go. Whoops. See, now I'm rushing. Don't rush. At least you don't have to rush. And it's okay if it frays, because you're going to pull it apart anyways, or I am. All right, and wrap it around, and then tuck it under so it can pull forward like that. And then of course you're only wrapping it around this one, so you can tighten it closer to the thing by pulling on this one. I'm gonna trim that off because it looks ugly. Okay, so we're done with that as well. And now you take these, and I start at the bottom so that way the top doesn't come unfrayed, and you just pull it apart like this. I just think that that is the neatest little thing ever. And then you do the same thing here. You just pull it apart. And I don't pull it apart at the top, because I don't want it to unfray. But look at that. I absolutely love that. It's gonna be sad when that runs out, but I use it like crazy. Okay, then I'm gonna put a little glue dot, and this guy is going to get tucked between the seaweed and the shell. That is where he's gonna go to make it look like he fell. Like that. To make it look like he kind of fell from the boat, from the upper part of the water. I know, I'm a dork. I know, the anchor, that's a tiny little boat compared to my big old fish, but it's in the background, just like the other tiny little fishies are. Yeah. This ribbon or trim is so amazing. I just can't tell you enough. I might have to get another one if it's still available. All right, last little bit and we are done. Oh, I'm so sorry it took forever. There's a few things that I should have prepped a little bit more before, but there they are. There's our cute little fishies that we made right here, all just using our scraps and the tools that we own all throughout our house. Well, maybe not through our house, but you get the idea. Throughout your room, look and see what you have. Look and see what your scraps talk to you and tell you. That's what I do. I have a few more projects that I would like to do with my scraps, and then I should be good to go. But I'm going to clean my desk off next. Thank you so very much